Richard was born in Lawrence in 1957. He was an inquisitive, good-natured baby full of energy. As a young child, he was very intelligent and adventurous. For his first 5 years, he was the only child and star of the show in the family. Then along came Margaret, his baby sister, to share the limelight. They formed a strong bond of love, along with rivalry and typical sibling play and camaraderie. He was a regular kid, riding his bike around the neighborhood and playing horse atop his father's shoulders. In his youth, he continued these curious and interested and childlike qualities, and in fact, he retained his wonder of life, his sense of adventure, and his pursuit of friendships and fun, as some of you would know, all through his adult life. As an adult, Rick's primary career choice was teaching, working as a professor at Wilberforce University, after having taught at Chico State and Butte College, as well as lecturing at Stanford. This was a natural choice for him, growing up with a father teaching at KU and a mother teaching reading and second and third grades at local schools, not to mention the many aunts and uncles in the teaching profession as well. He was also a journalist, with news and feature articles being published by Chicago Sun-Times, Dayton Daily News, and others. Recently, he became very involved with the Pikes Peak senior news magazine in Colorado Springs and was quite the celebrity at the Bear Creek Senior Living Facility, where he resided during the last few months of his life. With his degrees in media arts, he also developed many graphic arts projects, as you've seen up here, and used his skills to compile resource pamphlets and design postcards and posters. Rick was also an avid traveler and wrote a number of travel articles for various publications. He toured around Europe, the Caribbean, and spent time in South Africa working on his PhD. In addition, he found some of the best places in the U.S. to live in. He resided in Austin, Texas, Madison, Wisconsin, Santa Cruz and Chico, California, and Lawrence, Kansas, just to name a few. Rick was a very spiritual man, interested in all religions, particularly Christianity, but found many good lessons from spiritual teachers of many faiths. He was fascinated by sacred sites and had a strong affinity for Unity Church and a strong appreciation of the Quaker faith as well. He believed in volunteering and not being materialistic, and his everyday life reflected this. With everything that Richard did, he had a wry sense of humor and keen self-awareness of his eccentricities and shortcomings. As an example, while teaching at Wilberforce in Ohio, he opted to live in a weekly rental hotel. He called this his mansionette. Living in the luxury of cable TV and weekly cleanings, this arrangement saved him thousands of dollars, as he could move out every summer and winter break without the worry and expense of a lease. In fact, Rick found many ways to live an independent lifestyle and was creative in buying and selling books, forming small businesses, and saving money. This meant that he very rarely had to punch a clock or be beholden to a boss. Rather, he always managed to be his own boss in this world. The range of topics he explored in the articles he wrote spoke to his varied interests in travel, health, learning, creative aging, mental health, and history. He also collected postcards and autographs. He wrote about meeting and seeing political figures, musicians, and artists. He wrote about how to be a successful teacher and his teaching philosophy, urging kids to incorporate what he called CAMI, constant and never-ending improvement, into their lives. He was also a family guy, devoted to his mother, Audrey, helping his sister and in a loving relationship with his wife, Kimberly, for the last 14 years. Together, they enjoyed making a home in Colorado Springs. The family would like to thank Kimberly for taking such good care of Richard and making sure he experienced love around him during the many months of his illness. An article Richard wrote really speaks to who he was and what he cared about. The article explained the Quakers as influential reformers. Richard always contributed to the Quakers financially and supported their current interests in environmentalism, interfaith dialogues, humanitarianism with displaced persons, peace, and volunteering. Richard was very frugal, but very generous to charities and generous with his time through service. His parents taught him to do right, and he did right. He did it with passion and a sense of adventure and joy. Thank you, Richard, for adding so much to our lives.